All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you could find your seats, that would be awesome. All right. Welcome everybody here. My name is Cinnamon Moffett and I'll be one of many hosts today for today's presentation. Thanks for being here at our seminar. Just a quick reminder for some new faces in the room that this is a hybrid event. So that means we have folks online and folks here in the room. For folks online, welcome. Thank you for being here as well. If you have any questions for us, go ahead and put those into the chat box. We have a volunteer, Roseanne, in the room who will read those out. She also is an amazing whiz if you're having any technical issues, so you can put those questions into the chat box as well, and she might be able to help you if you're having trouble hearing or seeing us. For folks in the room, when we get to question and answer, I am going to have this mic running around so that you can raise your hand and I'll hand you the mic, and that way folks online can hear as well. But again, thank you so much for being here and being part of our seminar series. I wanted to do one quick little announcement for next week's seminar. We have Kathleen Hunt, who is the newest associate professor with MMI, who's going to be here talking about stories from whale bailing around stress and reproduction. So I'm hoping that folks can come and welcome our newest member to Hatfield. So that'll be next week, same place, same time. But what I'm going to do is actually get this thing going because there's a lot of us today, and I'm going to hand the mic off to Lisa Bowens, who is our interim executive director here at Hatfield, who has been a part of this story that we're going to tell today. So I'm going to hand the mic off to Lisa.
Thanks, Cinnamon, and welcome to all of you here in person. Welcome to our speakers, and welcome to everyone online. OSU has a long, successful, and globally renowned reputation for innovative and impactful research in marine and freshwater ecosystems. Underlying all of this is infrastructure, assets, technology, innovation, practices, and policies focused on safety and training. And today we're going to hear from some of the leaders in the talented team that make this all possible under the umbrella of OSU's Office of Marine Operations. Now, the history associated with this office is long and it's complicated. When I first came to OSU in 2019, there was no Office of Marine Operations. Oversight of the university's ocean and freshwater work, it was all scattered across different colleges, different offices, different programs, different institutes. In 2020, a Marine Operations Task Force was established to review and revise how we approached our work on the water. I and 10 others from across the university, we worked for the better part of 4 years on our review. I think we broke OSU's task force longevity record. And in the end, we produced a 92-page report that was submitted to the provost and the vice president for research and innovation. That was submitted in August of 2023. Our primary recommendation, it was bold, to put it mildly. We recommended that OSU centralize all marine operations, those operations being programmatic, supervisory, budget, compliance oversight. We recommended we centralize all of that under a new Marine Operations Director who would report to an Associate Vice President of Marine Operations here at Hatfield. It was a truly transformative idea associated with potential efficiencies in costs, shared assets and talent, transparent and consistent policies, decreased risk, increased safety, and a seat at the table of university leadership. And honestly, to my surprise, university leadership decided to make it so. So today you're going to hear about some of the parts and pieces of this centralized team that have come together in the last just year and a half, and they are the leaders in this office. Lindsay Kurelja will be speaking, and she's OMO's Marine Superintendent. She oversees the safe, efficient, and compliant operation of OSU's research vessels, supporting oceanographic research, education, and outreach, managing shore-based infrastructure and fleet logistics. Before she came to OMO, she was an officer with the NOAA Corps for 21 years, 8 of those at sea, including a command assignment, and with leadership roles in fleet operations, vessel management, and strategic planning. Subsequently, she was a station chief at NOAA's Northwest Fisheries Science Center here at Hatfield, where we think she fell in love with this place. Taylor Eaton will also be presenting today, and he's OMO's boating safety officer and small boat program manager. Taylor is a licensed captain, scuba instructor, boating safety course administrator, and member of the Scientific Boating Safety Association Board of Directors. Taylor has over 15 years of experience in scientific boating and diving safety, including 10 of those years here at OSU. We'll also hear from Kevin Buch, who is OMO's Diving Safety Officer and Scientific Diving Program Director. Kevin joined OSU in 2012 as the Diving Safety Officer and the very first boating safety officer at the university. Since that time, he's worked to bring these programs to national prominence while building a culture of safety, enhanced access to the water, and expanding training and experiential learning opportunities. And Kevin was a fellow co-member of the Marine Operations Task Force that I spoke of a few minutes ago that ultimately resulted in this new centralized office. Brandon DeAndrea leads OMO's Marine Technician Group, and you'll also hear from him today. He was introduced to the Marine Technician field as a student at the University of Hawaii. That led to a mate internship where he sailed as a technician on a cruise through Indonesia and the Philippines. Surprisingly, he decided to come to OSU after the Western Tropics, where he is now in his 10th year with this group. And you'll also hear from Christine Golden, OMO's Marine Operations Coordinator. She oversees scheduling, planning, and operational support for OSU's research vessels and marine services. And even though OMO is a relatively new entity, Christine has been critical to the successes of these activities for almost 15 years. Finally, Ethan Roth is the Director of Marine Operations. He will not present today. I think that's a statement in and of itself with respect to his leadership style of empowering his people, or maybe he just doesn't like to publicly speak. But he's clearly central to OMO's success. And I want to point out that he's in the audience right over there for any of the hard questions that may come after this seminar. So with that, I'm going to welcome our team and give the microphone to Christine. Thanks, you guys, for coming.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Golden. As Lisa mentioned, I am the Marine Operations Coordinator for OSU. And I wanted to give a quick overview of our office. So the Office of Marine Operations was formed in 2025, and we are the main hub for marine services at OSU. And we provide safe and effective access to marine environments, and that includes both fresh and saltwater environments. And the services that we provide are associated with these programs, which are vessel operations, which manages the Pacific Storm and Alaka, and will be managing the operations of the research vessel Tawny, which is our flagship vessel, currently under construction. We have our Marine Operations Facility, which offers our shoreside infrastructure for our vessels, as well as visiting vessels from other academic institutions, and is our expedition staging and equipment testing area. We have our Oceanographic Technical Services, which is part of our Marine Technician Group, and they support scientific equipment, cruise logistics, as well as underway data collection and quality control. They also represent Oregon State University in a multi-institutional program for ship-based technical support in the Arctic known as STARC. And we manage the West Coast Van Pool, which is a centralized fleet of portable scientific laboratory containers, one of 2 fleets within the United States, and they are shipped all over the world to serve aboard academic research vessels. We have our small boat program, which manages 8 centralized small boats and provides oversight and training for our boat operators. We have our scientific diving program, which supports and manages all underwater operations and research, and they are an organizational member of the American Academy of Underwater Sciences. Office of Marine Operations provides a central support structure for these programs and services, and that includes operational logistics, which is my role, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, marine personnel coordination with Lisa Marie Heislip, and financial services with Kelsey Herman. The Office of Marine Operations, in connection with the Marine Operations Committee, which is in connection with the Marine Operations Committee, which provides advisory support to marine operations to ensure that we are managing our assets in accordance with the university's mission of research, education, and outreach. So, my role is that I oversee the integrated scheduling, planning, and operational support for OSU's vessels, van pool operations, and marine-related services. Prior to marine operations, as Lisa mentioned, we were spread out across the university. So we existed in different colleges, institutes, programs, and subsequently there were multiple workflows for how you requested services, how you scheduled them, and how you received them. And subsequently there were a lot of challenges because it's hard to look at 10 different places at once. So a lot of people were based on a who you know system for getting these services, and they also often felt tied to specific platforms. So where we are now, we are under a centralized office, and we have central contacts like myself. And we started to standardize workflows. So how you request services, how cruise planning occurs, how service planning occurs, all started to follow a similar process as we started to find commonalities between what we did. This was especially important with the integration of operations for research vessels Alaka and Pack Storm last year. And I just wanted to make a quick note. I'm a little bit sentimental, so this image doesn't really look like much, but it's a screenshot from May of last year. And if you see those 3 blue arrows, they indicate the position of the vessels Alaka, Pacific Storm, and Kalipi in May of last year on Marine Traffic, which is a vessel tracking website. And it was one of the first times that those 3 vessels were out operating on the water, supporting different programs and projects under marine operations. So I think it kind of demonstrates the broad spectrum of support that we can provide. We've also been participating in collaborative engagement with certain outreach projects. You might have seen us at certain events. We've also been participating in social media campaigns with Hatfield, and we will be part of Marine Science Day in April, so come and say hi. And we have also established our own website. So we now have marineops.oregonstate.edu, and that is our main service center and information center for our vessel ops, our marine services, and how you access them. So as we look forward to the future, and as we're developing these lines of support, we are starting to develop really critical platforms for support, and this includes a single platform for requesting, scheduling, and planning for our marine-related services and chartering, and this is through Marine Facilities Planner, which is a scalable solution that'll work for all of our vessels. We know we're not a one-size-fits-all operation, but it standardizes how information gets from user to support to operator. We are also standardizing our billing services in accordance with OSU, with realms, and we are pursuing a platform to maintain the safety of our fleet and equipment. We are also continuing updates to our website as we start developing out these platforms of services. Those will be included with our website. And as we're looking towards the operations of the research vessel Tawny, we'll start building out that web page as well. So, how do you receive our services now? I'm going to say go to our website a lot. If you want to request a boat or take a look at our vessels and what their capabilities are, go to our website. All of our vessels have a web page that you can check out their capabilities. For time on Research Vessel Alaka or Pacific Storm, you can fill out a vessel request form. If you're interested in the small boat fleet, you can check out information about the boats on the small boat program site, and you can email boatingsafety@oregonstate.edu. If you want to plan a dive, or you want to understand what those resources are, you can go to the scientific diving page, and you can also email divingsafety@oregonstate.edu. If you want access to the marine techs, you can take a look at the services that the marine techs provide on their webpage. You can also, if you're interested in deploying a piece of equipment or testing it out at our facility, you can take a look at our shoreside support page and make a request through there. If you're interested in taking a class, we have our motorboat operator training course. That information is on the small boat webpage under the Training and Resources tab. If you're interested in diving courses, you can go to the Scientific Diving Program site and take a look at the Training and Resources tab. And if you're interested in a sea safety and survival training class, if you want to get used to jumping into an immersion suit or a life raft, those classes are dependent upon availability and interest. So keep an eye out for email announcements for sea safety and survival training courses. If you have any questions, if you know something touches the water, you don't exactly know where to go or who to talk to, you can always talk to me. You can email me anytime, or you can call me. So I'm always available. And with that, we're going to dive deeper into our programs, and I'm going to hand it off to Lindsay.
I can personally attest to the fact that she is not only always available, but very knowledgeable in all the things that we do. So, okay, so we're no longer ship ops, in case anybody was unaware of that. Within the bounds of centralization, we moved the management of Alaka and Pacific Storm, under a single entity, as those are no longer ships. We are now vessel operations instead of ship operations. So you will see that if you see ships ops any longer, it is an error. So as part of the Tiger team, there was this report, there was this excellent statement about getting better access to sea for research and education. And I sort of am taking that to heart as our driving force within vessel operations, and how we can better support all of the university and researchers on Hatfield as we get better access to the sea. Here you see the Alaka and Pacific Storm. They both just finished up their repair periods over at Port of Toledo. Through a comedy of errors, they both got pulled out at almost the exact same time, allowing for this beautiful picture. But during that time, they both underwent significant repair periods. Probably the largest the Alaka's undergone in almost a decade since she was repowered. Full hull verification. We're doing a full stability analysis on the Pacific Storm to make sure that they're rip-roaring and ready to go for the field season as she comes. The door is open. So I know that in the past there has been a cultural shift that maybe wasn't allowing the office that we sit in over there to be as available to the main campus. That's no longer the case. the door's open, the gate is open. Please do not walk up the road off of the sidewalk to walk all the way around to gain access to our facility. If by chance the door didn't get unlocked, just knock. We are not locking you out. It just doesn't get used as often. But we'd love everybody to be able to come over there and have open conversations as we are all enjoying the Hatfield hug and coming under a big group together. We encourage you to come over for a visit. So just a little additional detail on our mid-size research vessels. I always have a little soft heart for the older vessels, and these two definitely have my heart now. RV Alaka is a purpose-built vessel, built in 2000, really built to serve the researchers here at Hatfield. I'm not going to go through all the details of everything, but just to give you all an idea of the services and equipment that we can provide on these vessels. The Alaka is a great educational platform, and we really have enjoyed working with Tracy Cruz and bringing out as many students as we possibly can. The more we can expose to these little boats, the better. Pacific Storm, we welcomed back under the world of vessel ops this year after back and forth between Marine Mammal Institute and us. Marine Mammal Institute had done a lot of work taking this fisheries buyback vessel and retrofitting it into a highly capable oceanographic vessel and marine mammal platform. Sorry, excuse me. She's just undergone a significant repair period and is really ready to get back out there and do the work that you all need her to do. All right, so if you all didn't know, we have a vessel under construction. I know it's been a long wait, and I'm coming in at the tail end here with a breath of fresh air, but it is the year of Tawny. Our office is taking on, preparing for the vessel to be here, making sure that she's technically ready, that she's as safe as possible, exceeding all safety standards that are laid out by both the Coast Guard and ABS. We're also working in the university to make sure that she can be staffed in a way more in line with maritime standards, putting everybody on a rotational staffing model so that we've got a bench, and we've set ourselves a goal to have 0 days at sea lost for staffing in the first year. And we're really working hard to build up the staffing paradigm that'll ensure that happens. And then, we got to keep her from breaking down. Will be new to us at 10 years old when we get her. And so keeping up a maintenance program and staying ahead of all of the maintenance that are going to be coming down the line for Tawny is top of the list, and making sure she can be as reliable as possible for the research that you all need. All right, so then just one last note as to maybe why this big collaboration or big combination of a motley crew that we've become maybe is important. The intent here is to really improve compliance with safety protocols and safety programs. We've started through the Marine Operations Committee a working group to start a marine safety policy. The intent of this is to be a high-level policy that defines who's responsible for each of the steps along the way of the safety management of all of our afloat entities, all the way down to recreational boats, all the way to the Tawny. So from the crew rowers all the way to Tawny will be covered underneath this policy, and it will provide standards so that everybody knows where to go. There shouldn't ever be a question as to where you need to go and who you need to talk to, and this should help alleviate that. We also, we are working towards a charter vessel policy for any charters that we may need within the bounds of the university. In the interim, we are standing by to provide any review or input to make sure that any vessels that we are chartering meet minimum safety standards and will be able to do the work we need it to do. We're also working with facility security through the Coast Guard. When we have Tawny here, we'll have to have a higher level of security to ensure maritime safety under something called MARSEC. And so you'll see some work happening out there. The old broken fence is going to be repaired, I promise, along with a lot of other upgrades that we're working towards there. Then just a quick note of collaboration. In the short time I've been here, I've only been here since August, but these are just a couple of notes of places that we've been able to coordinate amongst the group here and have saved either time, money, or both in making our operations better. That includes getting new transducers for the Pacific Storm under grant money. We're making the Alaka into a dive platform, which is quite exciting. Thanks to the folks here at the iLab and their construction of a dive platform and the expertise of Mr. Buch and our awesome captain, Regan. The Alaka will have a dive platform, and I know Kevin's going to speak to what that means to the dive program here at OSU. And then finally, the small boat support for our pier maintenance. This was maybe a small thing, but it ended up saving us probably at least 3 days of getting our own boats within vessel ops up and running, or thousands of dollars to Hatfield for the maintenance on the pier itself. We were able to coordinate with the small boat program and save a bunch of money. You know, these are little things right now, but if in 6 months that's $10,000 we've saved and a bunch of hours on people, there's nothing but better to come in the future. So. That is the end of vessel operations here. I think I made my time all right. I will stand by for questions after. Thank you.
All right. I'm Taylor Eaton, OSU Boating Safety Officer, and I get to represent the small boat program today. We are your watercraft operations and safety partners. My job in the small boat program exists to help you make sure that your work is safe, legal, and done in an effective manner. We do that through offering a variety of resources. As you can see on this slide here, we have a boating project safety review and approval process. That's a university requirement for any on-water work. We have a centralized small boat fleet. These are boats that are available to staff, students, and collaborators for research and educational use in a way that's never really been done in a centralized way before, which is really exciting. We have our safety trainings, so we train researchers and students to operate these boats within the centralized fleet, and maybe boats that are decentralized still within the lab systems and things like that, or at the college or department level. Mainly through, if it's a motorboat, as Christine mentioned, our motorboat operator training course, or MOTC. And then we have modules that go along with that, including the open water module for safe bar crossing in open water environments and larger, conditions where you might be further from help. We also have a instructor training module, which has become kind of a nationally recognized resource, not only for our OSU community, but across the nation from other universities and scientific boating institutions. We've got visitors that come here, see what we're doing as far as operator training goes, and then either train with us and then try to set up a similar situation back at their institution, which is really exciting. And then we do offer centralized support for boating administrative functions. So our goal is to be kind of your one-stop shop for these things like vessel safety inspections, which are an annual requirement for anybody using watercraft at OSU. Boat titles and registrations, so all the paperwork that goes along with getting the vessels acquired and titled with the State Marine Board. We recently took that over from Surplus, if anybody's had to go down that road and interact with Surplus. Now that is something that you can come to us for. And then acquisitions is another big thing. So when it's time to acquire a new boat, that's something that we can help you with or connect you with other existing assets that might be there in lieu of acquiring something new. So those are kind of the things that we're currently offering. Some recent developments. Well, we've got a new boat talking about acquisitions. So this boat pictured here is the Mishki, which sticking with OSU's theme of Siletz, honoring Siletz tribal language, translates roughly to like seabird or seagull. I'm going with seabird because if you talk to bird researchers, seagull is not a great term. So Mishki means seabird, and this was really kind of a great example and case study of how the small boat program can be a centralized resource, where we were approached by a lab that needed a resource that didn't exist, as far as a vessel that was small and trailerable to go up and down the coast of the western United States, had a lot of deck space and no big, large obstructions, so mainly a center console vessel for survey work. This is also going to be an excellent dive platform. So not only is it going to fulfill the needs of the project that came to us and asked for assistance in acquiring the boat, but we've been able to reach out to the broader OSU community and spark interest in it for dive ops and other survey-related work. And yeah, it's just a really exciting thing that we're looking forward to providing. The boat, I was just looking at it today, should be out of the shop, they said by tomorrow, excuse me, but maybe by the end of next week for sure we'll be on the water and cruising around doing some sea trials. We've worked hard to increase our collaborations across OSU and with the other community members, kind of like my colleagues mentioned. We're working more closely with ship operations, being able to provide support on the small boats to them. We are working with the iLab, which is really exciting, to help maintain and fabricate things in-house for our small boats. We work with the MARTEX, the Scientific Diving Program. We've started up new connections with the OSU Foundation, and also athletics as far as kind of the crew and rowing teams, which is really exciting. We have engaged in a mechanism to really help reduce the burden that's on researchers trying to get out on the water through providing reliable resources. And the goal here is that this, especially like the centralized boat fleet and these centralized resources, will help open doors to new avenues of research, bringing in new research dollars, making projects that might not have been possible in prior years because you don't have access to a boat or funding for, to acquire a boat or a way to figure out all the logistics of doing that. Now you do have that resource in the small boat program. So we're really excited to see that coming online. I mentioned our fundraising efforts. Boats, even small boats, are really expensive. So we've tried to figure out how we can diversify and ease the financial burden of caring for and acquiring vessels. And we've been able to partner with the OSU Foundation. In the last year, we've raised over $130,000 for small boats, research boats at OSU. And that includes the formation of 2 new funds dedicated to helping small boat research. And that includes the Vessel Acquisition and Repair Fund, which is designed to ease the financial burdens of maintaining and purchasing boats. And then the Endowed Fund for Scientific Boating and Training, which is going to be a way to support scholarships for hands-on boat training and for equipment associated with those trainings. And that's really going to be important and impactful for folks that might not be able to get over that initial barrier financially to join the class. And I'm really kind of targeting undergrads and other students that might be interested in joining, and becoming boat operators and seeing what doors open from there and where they can help around the community and into their careers. We have a new warehouse space. The Office of Marine Operations has a little workspace now, and part of that is going to be dedicated for small boat program, so that we can now finally do some in-house maintenance, which will help save the university some money, whereas before all of our maintenance needs were kind of contracted out to third-party vendors around. Now simple things can be done inside under dry storage with access to power and water and those kind of things. And that's not just a centralized support thing for the small boat program, but for any of the decentralized vessels that might be looking to get some dry storage area to do simple work and things like that. We can now offer that service. And we've created a small boat Instagram, which kind of goes along with our fundraising efforts. And so I encourage you all to look that up and maybe give us a follow and stay connected so you can see all the awesome things that are happening on the water at OSU and within our community. What do we have to look forward to? So, boat improvements. With the new centralized kind of fleet mechanism, we have been able to start standardizing resources on these small boats, so that's safety equipment and things like that, making sure the vessels are ready and to go out for work. That also involves like trying to standardize navigation equipment and making sure that all of the different vessels within our fleet have equipment that is intuitive for users that come through the class, and they can jump from one boat to the other if the nav systems are similar. And so that's been a really good thing. We are looking at improving boat capabilities. So we are looking forward to repowering our vessel Calliope. If anybody's been familiar with that one, that's like our 29-foot vessel that has struggled a little bit over the years with an aging engine and things like that. By putting a new engine in there, we're making the boat more reliable, safer, and expanding the capabilities. We'll now be able to go faster, which will open up new areas to get to. As far as research goes, it'll expand what we can access out of a safe harbor. And having a new engine with less quirks, anybody that knows boats knows engines and boats have quirks. Starting with a clean slate, we'll be able to train operators more easily and have more confidence, and then be able to go out and come back and shorten that time for training with the new repower. We also have expanding kind of watercraft safety trainings and locations. So not only are we doing motorboat safety training courses, but we also offer non-motorized safety training and orientations. And so through kind of the American Canoe Association training standards, we are doing vessel orientations and helping folks with their non-motorized projects get the training they need and match them to the craft that is suitable to conduct their work. We have just added for the first time ever a MOTC, so one of our motorboat training courses is going to take place in Corvallis on the Willamette River at the OSU rowing team boathouse in June. And so that really kind of expands, the area that we've been able to offer this training and opens up that training to folks that might, there was kind of a location barrier to getting over here or one of our other training locations. So that's really exciting. And that kind of strengthens our partnerships with other units on campus like athletics. Let's see. We have also kind of worked really hard to streamline our user experience. So Christine mentioned bringing on software to help become a scheduling and planning, cruise planning tool that will give you access to all of the different vessels within the Office of Marine Operations. That's really exciting and around the corner. This also will involve, incident reporting, our main website, and also improved fee structures to help keep costs down as much as possible while maintaining our assets and making sure they're ready to go and well maintained. We've worked hard to increase our boat operator and vessel availability. We've created a standing kind of intermittent pooled position so that we can hire vessel operators to run some of the small boats for those groups that aren't able to or willing to go through the operator training process. We can provide an operator to take you out and get your research or work done. And now there are more operators, which means the boats are more available, which is really exciting. And we've also been working to explore marine industry partnerships. We're looking for affordable access to state-of-the-art resources to improve safety, strengthen community bonds, and support our science and research initiatives. And last but not least, I'll make a little plug. We are participating for the second year in Damn Proud Day, which is on April 29th. So look for the small boat program if you're going to tune into the YouTube there or be over in Corvallis, but we will be participating in that. And I encourage you to spread that amongst your community and circles because we have some really amazing things going on here, and I'd like to see them continue to grow the way they've been growing over the last year and a half with the kind of this new structure and organizational structure for Office of Marine Operations. I think that's it from me. Kevin.
Thanks, everybody, for taking time to join us today. The mission of our science diving program is to facilitate safe and successful scientific and educational diving here at OSU. When I talk to folks about this program, they're often surprised when they hear about the diversity of underwater work we've got going on. During my time here at OSU, we've had projects underwater at both poles, both polar regions. We've had people working in the Caribbean, in the Indo-Pacific, in French Polynesia, in Australia, in South Africa, and of course also here in our own backyard, up and down not only the Oregon coast, but reaching up into Alaska and down into California, and not only in the world's oceans, but diving research and other activities in rivers and lakes in our area. So we've got folks underwater quite a bit of different places, both students, faculty, staff, graduate students, postdocs. So just about every class of person at OSU gets underwater and has representation in our program. We facilitate our mission in kind of three main ways. We certainly have a big responsibility when it comes to compliance and risk management. There are actually federal regulations involving scientific diving. Training, as you can imagine, is a big component of what we do, both formally and informally. We've got a wide variety of safety-related courses that scientific divers are obligated to kind of be proficient in, but we also have formal academic 4-credit classes in scientific diving available to both our undergrad and graduate populations. And then we also provide direct support in terms of actual on-water or underwater support for projects that need it. We've got pretty well-stocked equipment inventories and a wide variety of infrastructure for direct support to people that need it. So we try to kind of encourage diving and encourage folks to think about what could happen underwater if they had the resources available, and then view the diving program as kind of a way to meet those needs. The way the program is administered and managed, the Diving Safety Office and the Diving Safety Officer sort of oversees the day-to-day operations and upkeep of the program. That includes maintaining our divers population and their status, all of our training programs, oversight of initial dive plan preparations, and oversight of all the equipment and associated infrastructure that goes along with our program. And we also are guided by a federally mandated advisory board. So we have our Diving Control Board, which is comprised of active scientific divers across OSU, and we're also fortunate to have DCB participation from a couple of AUS universities outside of OSU. What's happened with the scientific diving program and the Office of Marine Operations has been really encouraging. Since my time here, we've been the science diving program, and up until recently as well, the small boat program, we were housed in the Office of Research Integrity. So still a part of DRI, but we were in mainly a compliance-oriented unit. And we were fortunate to have great support over the years from the administration in the research office and the ORI unit. But being housed with the animal care and use program and the IRB and the conflict of interest folks, there wasn't a lot of, we were kind of the outliers. We were the only groups that really did a lot of field work and that had really large training components and that ran courses for undergrads and things like that. So one of the gains we've seen from this reorganization is that now the scientific diving program is housed in this consolidated sort of unit where all the different groups that have kind of a similar mission and similar subject matter expertise are now linked together. And this has helped us already when it comes to things like sharing not only financial resources, but personnel. Another bonus to the science diving program from this consolidation has been the way that funds and budgeting are handled. So as part of the Office of Research Integrity, we never really had a formal line item budget for the dive program. And while we were able to kind of maintain ourselves and even grow a little bit, not being in an area where we had a lot of subject matter expertise at the higher administrative made it challenging to kind of advocate for funds and stuff like that over the years. So this new consolidated budget approach through the OMO, I think, is really going to pay dividends in terms of the growth and development of the science diving program. We're going to be able to better forecast our longer term needs, both in terms of not only infrastructure, but most importantly, staffing as well. Some examples of recent successes through this consolidation, having sort of one voice that's speaking across all these different marine related units has already helped us improve access to the water environments that OSU works in, which was one of the main targets identified by the task force that Lisa mentioned at our opening. Improved access and especially gains in experiential opportunities for students. So we've been able to form a little bit closer link and a more direct tie-in with the Marine and Coastal Opportunities Program, MACO. That's already helping us to get some support for our student and class field trips. Some of the funding, this unified approach to sort of marine and vessel needs, as Christine indicated and Lindsay mentioned, we've got an initiative now to invest some money and make some modifications to the ALACA to expand its portfolio to include diving operations. And both this support from MACO and these upgrades to our vessels are just examples of how this consolidation is sort of paying dividends. So it's important to us because one of the challenges I faced over the years, it's always been hard to get vessel access for our scientific divers, mainly on the student and training side. So we're really on the edge of opening up a lot more regular opportunities for our folks to have access offshore, which sounds like it would be something pretty basic, but it's been a little bit of a challenge until recently. And then the other thing that's been a positive so far, again, kind of this idea of speaking with one voice, has also helped facilitate relationships with the OSU Foundation, and that's led to some increased funding opportunities and physical support for the small boat program and the scientific diving program. So having this voice to help keep these issues front and center and to kind of map out the growth of all these different units has been definitely a positive through this OMO consolidation. So up next, Martex.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Brandon. Thank you, Lisa, for the intro earlier. I'm here on behalf of the Marine Technician Group, as you can see. So I'll start out with a bit of an intro of the group, and then I'll dive into some of the projects and highlight some of the work we've done through OMO and the recent organization here. Okay, starting out with some mugshots here. So there are 5 of us in total in the group, including myself. We're all full-time with OSU. We're all currently based out of Corvallis. Typically, we support scientific operations on the greater academic research fleet. However, through some of this recent change, we've been able to get access to a few things here locally. So I'm going to highlight some work that we've done at the Innovation Lab and then talk about some plans that we have for the mid-sized vessel fleet here. Okay, so most of you are familiar with the Innovation Lab just across the hall. We have started rotating through with their team, and Drummond and folks have really welcomed us with open arms. We're very excited to both get some cross-training on the equipment they have and really learn how to take projects from concept to design, working in some CAD software, to then cross that over to manufacturing, fabrication, and see all that through. So we It's still very much a training process. I want to just make a public thanks to them. They're front-loading some familiarity with the equipment. I know I'm personally responsible for breaking off a few drill bits in the milling machine and losing some tools and making a mess of things, but they've been very patient with us, and we're getting to a point where we're contributing to some of the workload that they have. So this slide here is courtesy of Drummond. There's a picture of one of our team members, Brandon, who is on the milling machine. He's recently been involved in designing a dive ladder that's been mentioned. So you can see a rendering of it here, and then it's getting close to a final product there at the bottom. There's another one of our team members, Joseph, here in attendance, who just today was showing me some work that he's doing on an ADCP adapter plate for a towfish for an upcoming cruise. So yes, we're getting some skill building with our team, but we're also contributing to these real-world products, and very much looking forward to this collaboration moving forward. And then pivoting a little bit, we are going to get more involved in the mid-sized vessels that we have here at OSU. So we're going to start this year with standardizing some of the scientific outfitting capabilities. We're going to start with the flow-through system. So on both vessels, we'll be upgrading to newer TSGs and installing an eco triplet, both from Seabird. So with that combination, we'll provide temperature and salinity data with the TSG, and then we'll have some optical measurements with the triplet that include fluorescence, some backscatter data for turbidity, and some dissolved organic matter measurements. So we're very excited about that. We're also, to pull it all together, we're going to be using some open source data tools. So we'll be installing OpenRVDAS, which is short for Research Vessel Data Acquisition System. It's part of a series of tools available for free online with Ocean Data Tools. This will help us pull that data together and then take advantage of some existing feeds on the ship with time and position. And then to bring all that together as a nice product and deliverable, we'll be using OpenVDM, which is short for Vessel Data Management. So that'll help us compile everything, archive it, and give it to the end users in a neat package. And then lastly, pictured here is one of our new toys. This is a standalone winch. It's a CMAC that we've inherited from another project here at OSU. We will be using this on the Pack Storm. We're going to create a profiling CTD and kind of a standalone system to accommodate some water column sampling and some real-time profiling. So we're in the process of refitting this one. We're very excited. I think it's going to add to the capabilities of the vessel, and it'll allow for some scheduling, deconflicting with sharing a single CTD system across both vessels. In addition to the outfitting, we're also going to provide some continued support for the mid-sized vessels. So we will be involved in pre-cruise planning. We'll also be doing some quality control and some testing between cruises to make sure that the onboard sensor suite is functional and that things are going well with the acquisition system. And then lastly, we will be exploring the possibility of us providing some at-sea support. That does need to be identified well in advance. We'll probably pick that out in the pre-cruise planning process. And yes, sorry, there will be additional costs that are incurred, but we want to be able to offer that for folks that are interested in some of the capabilities but may not have the expertise within their group. So we're excited to be involved in the mid-sized vessels. So we just touched on what our group does. If you want to get more information about us, we have a page on this Marine Ops website that Christine and others put together. It's a really fantastic resource. You can email us directly at our listserv. As you can see, we are very busy, but we will get back to you in a timely manner. And yeah, we're excited to be a part of the community here and contribute to safe science at sea. So thank you.
So in conclusion, I just wanted to show this list of our Office of Marine Operations team over here, and to let you all know that we are committed to enhancing operational efficiency through our centralized support structure. We are providing safe and equitable access to the water with our services. And our integrated services are here to advance research, education, and outreach. And we are here to support you, and we want to learn more about your work and how we can get out on the water together. So thank you all so much.
All right. There are so many of you, and we have a little bit of time for questions. But thank you very much, Roseanne. Any questions online? Okay. For folks online, if you have any questions, let us know, and we can work through them. How about questions in the room? I can see Lori's hand up.
So I didn't hear, this is really fascinating and very cool. I didn't hear any mention of uncrewed systems. Instead of sending a big boat out, you send a little independent thing out there. And I was just wondering, is that going to fall underneath your purview, or what is going on given how they're expanding in leaps and bounds?
Yeah, so unmanned or uncrewed vessels do fall under the category of watercraft, and so there are some laws that we'd have to abide by, and we do interface with folks and require project planning and hazard identification and mitigation in order to do that kind of work. So if that's something that you're, especially, of any size, and so these things can be really small, but there's still watercraft that could be a navigational hazard or cause problems, and we should go through the proper channels. So we offer support on that kind of project planning as well. For larger craft, then yeah, we could dive into some of the team that handles bigger craft too. Does that address your question?
So while it's really not under the purview of our office to operate uncrewed systems, we do want to provide supporting infrastructure around that. And so that's where our shoreside dock facility could come into play, as well as the vessels that we have, because you still need to get out and deploy and recover these things. We are actively participating in this new community user group around uncrewed systems to see how we could provide infrastructure support, and especially in making sure that our vessels are up to the task to provide that support when those systems need it.
Yeah, and if you're interested in the uncrewed working group that's being formed, let me know. I'll get you connected. All right, other questions online? How about in the room? I see Doug waving me down.
Thank you. Hey, thanks to all of you, and congratulations on all of this. I have a pretty specific question. It relates to safety training. Are we routinely offering the short half-day or full-day first aid classes, and are we offering wilderness first aid afloat?
So the scientific diving program, one of the services we've offered over the years has been basic life support and also emergency oxygen training. Those are both requirements for scientific diving authorization, and we've also mandated basic life support training for our small vessel operators. And so as a expanded service, the dive program has taught those courses to other OSU units, so various labs, departments, even facilities folks and housing and dining folks. So our capacity to do that is not unlimited, but if you have a group or unit that's looking for basic life support training, CPR, first aid, that type of thing, you certainly reach out to the diving safety office and we'll see what we can do for you. We run those courses sometimes fairly often, and if there's space available, we do make an effort to open those slots up to other folks. As far as wilderness first aid, wilderness first responder, those are great trainings to have if you're working in the field any sort of distance from definitive care. And Cinnamon and her office has done a great job of coordinating those over at Hatfield, typically taught through the Adventure Leadership Institute over on main campus.
Yeah, I'll also just add to the CPR resources. That's something that I'm able to help connect folks to that are doing project planning where they're going to be, needing that certification, I try to connect them with local providers, whether it's within the OSU community, ALI, the PACs, the physical activity programs over on main campus, run them occasionally. And then there are also community vendors that do that kind of stuff. And sometimes it makes sense to get that training, local, and sometimes it's like you get it, depending on where your research is conducting, and it can help coordinate that. Thanks, Doug.
All right. Other questions in the room? One last call for questions online.
Great presentation. Just wondering what has changed with using charter vessels outside of vessel ops. For example, using charter boats in other regions outside of the Pacific Northwest or in international waters.
I think that goes to Lindsay.
Yeah, so we are still standing up a charter vessel policy to help address that. So for right now, the biggest change is that we are now standing by with the technical expertise to review any vessel that might be a candidate for charter. And the door/email/phone is open for any questions along those lines as we stand up the charter vessel policy for OSU. There is also a UNOLS non-academic research fleet charter vessel policy that we will be coming in line with and we'll be looking to as we make those reviews for now.
Great.
I'll just add real quick that extending our safety and safety policies and the premise that wherever we work out in the field, even if it's not on our vessels, that our folks are kind of prepared, ready, looked after. That was one of the also one of the main items identified by this Marine Ops Task Force was addressing safety issues on non-OSU vessels wherever we might be using them. So.
And I'll just add that the small boat program has been offering reviews of charter and safety planning as a service even before, because the need is there immediately, right? We're currently doing this kind of work and we want to make sure that we're holding ourselves to a high standard when it comes to safety and compliance. So that's something that we've been doing through the boating work plan process for small craft, even in other countries and things like that. And then ship or vessel ops would also be a resource for charter ops.
All right, I see that we're out of time. I just want to recognize that this process has taken a long time. It has been a challenge, and we are so excited to see the results of everybody coming together and the benefits that this is providing. So nicely done, everybody. Give them a round of applause. All right, thank you to all of our speakers and to everybody in the audience. I hope to see you next week when we welcome Kathleen Hunt to our community. Thanks, everyone.